Welcome once again to Clinical Theurgy, episode 13.
This number.
So, with what past events do we return to the party to find?
Got all of our asses out of jail. That
Yeah.
was shitty.
Well, Elizabeth got sprung by her parents. They paid her bail. She had a nice little exchange there.
And then got scolded by our boss. And called crazy in front of
The Templar.
what are they? Not like it wasn't
The
wasn't
Demi-Templar.
That one was like, yeah, as a Demi-Templar. I was like, it wasn't the one that's like a full Templar, but the one that's trying to become a full Templar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then got everyone else out of jail, and we all had a few rest days to do stuff. I went in, hung out with Maha, and did some simulator.
Brianna hit up the dance club, had a dance battle with Elf. What's her name? I have it written down here.
The
I don't have it in front of me because I'm really bad at remembering to open Evernote. I'm also really bad at remembering to color my background.
Will I get it first? Where
lights
is mine?
I'm fixing the lights, so gotta get those
Laurette
lights.
Gwendolyn.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah, it's blue
Yep,
for this
winner,
game,
winner.
green for the other game.
So I had a dance battle, and thanks to a benevolent outside force, then I did very well. And she mentioned to her that I would be by at a later point to pick up the piece I'd requisitioned from her.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We were also told that the Templars we should not necessarily share everything with
Pretty much
them.
told us not to share anything Fae related with them until basically our boss feels like they have 100% undeniable proof that there is like Fae hijinks going on. Which I'm not sure how a body of a Fae creature isn't enough, but apparently it's not enough.
Well, you have a single Faean creature. I mean, that's just proof that there is a Fae that made it into town and somebody killed. Like, that's not proof that the
Gotcha.
Fae are taking major actions.
Involved. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
And then Goron went to church. He got a +1 cloak of resistance.
And then he went and chatted up, what was that dude's name? I didn't ever write his name.
Julius Constantinius.
Constantin. Oh wait, no.
No, not Constantinople. Why did he not make it into my Evernote? God damn it. Hold on.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a
He
high
is.
priest at On Her.
And
We had some secret memes going on. He gave me a sample of the Fae stuff that we
Yeah, the
unfortunately did not
tree
bring back.
branch
So I was able
vine.
I was able to give that to our Captenio.
Oh, and then there was the great interaction where our boss wants Anadeus to make a drug out of it and give it to people and see what happens to them, and Goron ain't about that shit, and now they get to work on it together.
And not only that, like the boss was just like, I don't see a problem with this. Just because you have a morality problem doesn't mean that the ministry does. Basically got told.
Yo.
Yeah. And then we got tasked to go to the capital to report to their Department of Archaeology.
Yep. So what, we had like a maximum like 2 days before we needed to basically leave town to make it there on time.
Yep.
Yeah, he did mention that it wasn't like a super rush, but he's like, basically when you have your shit, you should go.
But it was like a pretty like, don't take too long to get your shit. It was pretty.
Because
Yeah, it's
they
always-
only have so long that this thing will be able to be good for.
The
Right.
sample.
And they don't want to taint it with magic because it already has its own magic. So any magic you
Mhm.
apply to it could cause.
Could change it or
Correct.
cause residuals or just
You don't want to end up
So
with something
change the
tainting
findings.
the exactly.
Can we get a clear? I forgot. What is the capital of the? What is the capital called?
The capital. I genuinely keep forgetting the name of the capital, and on
Is
my
that the middle city?
that is
like,
the
in
middle
this-
city with
Okay.
what looks like bolts of lightning, but that is
Yeah.
because I don't have a good enough symbol for it.
Okay.
No one's ever really been to the capital or seen the capital, so something I should make pretty clear. Travel is a very, very fast, but also very difficult and sometimes very dangerous thing.
He did mention we might see ogres along the way.
There's actually a worry of hill giants in the
Giants.
mountain ranges.
Hill giants.
There are a number of creatures that exist in the wilds, and as long as you're moving fast enough and there's nothing to impede you, you can get past most obstacles. But survival of the fittest is kind of kicked into the wilds, and it's like if you run into an encounter in the wilds that stops you, you're in a lot of trouble. And so a lot of people don't travel unless it's in a large group, or unless they have access to like the carts that you're being given. The carts that you're being given move on their own. They're very fast. They move at twice the normal speed that a cart would move, even if pulled by like the most powerful horses you could find. So this is a very efficient system of travel. So it's all about getting from point A to point B as fast as you can. However, other things have learned to become more advanced predators to kind of survive in the wild and to defeat the honestly significant levels of power that magic has given to even the lowest level of like knights or other city defenders. And so the wilderness is taking the roads is safe in the right method, but it is also very dangerous if you happen to lose the lottery.
Gotcha.
And so most people don't take the roads very often. They tend to stay in the town they're in, and the only people that make these trips are people that have good reason to and can afford to do so.
So basically, it's like only stop and fight something if you absolutely are sure that it can like outrun your cart, and you won't be able to like just keep going and outrun it.
Yeah, and while there are small farms that exist in the in the outlying areas, those places have we're able to afford a lot of the magical securities necessary to keep these creatures out. And for the most part, they have a barrier that is one that the creatures don't find worth trying to break through. Like if they can hunt for something else rather than get electrified and have all these other effects happen to them, they'll just kind of maneuver around. And most of the cities have this around the outskirts. They have these means of protecting them, which is why you don't see these creatures making it into the city. But they're very, very expensive, and so to put them all along the roadway has not been something that the country has been able to afford to integrate into it. In addition to that, it's known that magic is an infinite but finite resource, and so you can't draw too much energy in any specific place. And building the road has kind of created its own excessive amount of sort of power draw or magic draw from the world. It took a lot to build that road, and so to put in the protective measures means they have to find some way to reinforce magic to that area. And changing the way ley lines move is not an easy feat. So it would take like an army of powerful wizards to be able to sort of reshape the land in the arcane image the country might want. So that's why you see there's lots of these like very large cities that exist on the map, but not so much in the way of like small towns on the map. All of these places are fairly large, have been around for a very long period of time, and there's not really points of interest in between.
I have a couple of questions about the cart and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So one thing is, is this going to be like our cart for the duration of the trip, like when we go there and then when we go back?
Correct.
Okay, so we could say take some of the stuff, like our stuff that we use on the road, like my bard kit, the things that I was keeping at the inn. I could take that with me and leave it on the cart. And
Absolutely.
then when we get to the city, wherever we're staying, the inn, wherever we stay there.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. The box does include one lockbox that you can put things in, and it will arcane lock and answer only to whomever, will open only to whomever the driver is. So when you get the cart, you designate one person with a like kind of kind of a handshake. It's like a series of gestures you do in front of the vehicle, and it like links you to the vehicle. And until you delink the vehicle from you, the vehicle is basically yours. There is a method to delink it otherwise, which is how like they would sort of repossess that vehicle should something go wrong. But it is very requires powerful magic to do that.
It's our rental wagon.
It is your rental wagon.
All right.
So, you guys all have writs that give you the ability to purchase quite a bit. So some of you said that you had thought already about stuff that you wanted to buy. So let's hear about some of that stuff. And since I most recently just actually talked to John about his acquisition, Ghoulrun, why don't you tell them what you're interested in finding?
I've heard of these famous boots of the earth. Could help me ground myself if we were ever attacked. I want to try and find these mighty boots.
Like by lightning?
Ha! No, more of like if someone comes and tries to shove me, it'd help me hold my ground. Also has some minor healing attributes.
Oh, that sounds handy.
Is
And I'll-
Goron just pissy that he got handled by Elizabeth?
Elizabeth, it's weird you're talking in third person, but no, that's not what it's about. It's about future encounters with things that... It's more important about the healing part of it, I think.
Okay, so I'm going to say there is a 10% chance that you can find these in a shop.
Oh, snap.
I'm going to drop dice everywhere.
Big money, big money.
And I am going to choose that it's going to be highs. So, good luck. Sadly, they do not have it. 60 was the result.
Damn.
I did get an excuse to roll percentile dice.
Can't always get what you want. I was thinking of purchasing a headband to make me more full of wisdom. Do you have this in stock?
Standard issue. We do happen to have that.
Yes. And then, quick question, Steve. The spell Shield Other requires a pair of platinum rings worth 50 GP. Is that for both rings, or is that one ring?
Let me relook at the wording. I feel like we had this conversation before, and now I'm blanking on it. No, we had this because you were thinking they would get eaten each time.
That was Dan, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Shield Other.
A pair of platinum rings worth...
I'm saying I
GP.
think both of them have to be worth 50 GP. So I think it's 25 gold each.
Okay. So I would
Actually-
like to get...
I'll do it that way. I don't think it's that big a deal. I don't think the difference of 50 gold is going to make or break the game. So
Right,
Plus, you
so...
would think if it was 50 gold each, they would say a pair of platinum rings worth 50 GP each,
Yeah.
worn by both you and the target.
So yeah, so for the headband, it's worth 4k gold for a +2, but the remaining 1,000 I want to buy these
Minus
rings
10%.
for... Well, whatever it is. I just want to get rings for each person. That's all I really need to buy.
okay. Yeah, that is fine. So that would be basically another, because if it's 25 apiece, that's only 100 gold. You sure I can't interest you in something else? I noticed you've got that cloak there, so one of the things I could offer you is out the window. But look, I'll make you a bit of a deal.
I am a cleric of Shashat, after all.
That is part of where my interest comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you feeling like I'm ripping you off. So what if I were to offer you something to promote my business and to help you out?
What is it you're offering?
Give me one sec. Let me pull this up, because I didn't think about this until you said it. And that's how my brain works. I will look this up. While I'm looking this up, can I hear what some other people have for their ideas for stuff?
I can go.
Yeah, go for it.
So Brianna was wanting to upgrade her. She already has a cloak, a +1 cloak of resistance. She wanted to upgrade it to a +2.
Okay.
And then with the leftovers, she was thinking about maybe upgrading her weapons. I was trying to figure out how much masterwork weapons cost, but I was...
Well,
I'm still
yeah,
looking into
masterwork
that.
would be a straight up rebuy of the weapon at 300 in addition to whatever the base cost of the item would be.
Okay.
So, with regard to the Cloak of Resistance, this can be made, but well, actually, if you're looking for a cloak of an upgrade to your Cloak of Resistance, let's see, you've been in how many combats?
Oh goodness, I don't know. Let's see. We had the I
Only
didn't,
been a
Since
handful,
you've had the
5 or
Cloak of
6.
Resistance, so like
yeah. So maybe like 2 or 3.
okay, so give me a roll of let's do like 30. Let's do 60 plus or 70 plus D30. Okay. So you will take a loss selling back a slightly damaged +1 Cloak of Resistance. It's dirty. It needs to be cleaned. It's taken on some damages, but for the most part, like it can be resold for a reasonable portion of its value. Magical items don't decay as much. They don't get as bad. There's just a little bit of work that has to go into them. So she'll buy it back at the equivalent of 900 GP.
Okay.
So you'll lose an extra 100 in the arrangement. I don't know if that costs you too much, but
Well, the thing is, the Cloak of Resistance I got with a writ previously.
oh,
I don't know
okay.
if that-
So yeah, so she'll still take the 100 difference out of it effectively. So
Okay.
but there isn't a direct line of implicitly upgrading these unless you hand over the writ and give them the time to. But since you need it done in such a short period of time, she could also try to do it at a faster rate.
Okay.
But there is a risk of failure in doing so because she would be trying to do something. She'd be trying to do something substantially faster than what it should be.
Okay.
She says she's not usually failed at this, but there is the possibility that something goes wrong and you end up with something with an additional thing that you may not necessarily want it to have. So if you're willing to take that chance, she can do it, but she'll need you to sign a waiver.
I'll sign the waiver.
Okay.
Whoa.
All right, so I will... Let's see what you end up with.
Just like gambling, jeez.
All right, I would have just taken the 100 gold loss.
Oh well, I mean, I didn't know that was a...
Yeah, that was what I was saying. You can either take the
Yeah.
100 gold loss, or she can upgrade your current one.
Oh,
The
I'll
100
just
gold
take-
loss just basically means within your 5 or your writ we have to spend right now, you just like lose 100 gold. Of
Yeah,
that.
you have a 4,900 gold writ instead of a 5,000 gold writ,
Oh,
basically.
well then, yeah, I would do that
Okay.
instead.
Damn, because I rolled a 6 on that, and I was really excited to give it some...
Well, hold on, is there a limited wish involved?
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. And what was the other thing you were going to get? You wanted to get your weapon upgraded, or you wanted to get a masterwork version of your existing weapon?
Well, I was thinking of actually taking a whip instead of I've got a dagger right now.
Okay.
And I was thinking of doing a whip and maybe seeing if I could get a masterwork, but I was trying to find the price of that to see if that was even feasible.
Were whips one of the things that you have to have like specialty training to use?
Yeah, but I think bards get it as one of
Okay.
their natural proficiencies.
Ooh.
Makes
It is.
sense because bards do have some fancy stuff like that. Fancy pantsy stuff.
And how about you, Elizabeth?
Oh, like Goron over here, I'd like a headband to make me a little bit more wise. and get myself one of the Cloak of Resistances finally.
Okay. So those are pretty straightforward. So you can pick that up with relative ease.
Yep.
What is this? I feel like I'm losing mine. There they. Well, since you... So this is for Ghoul Run. Since you're interested in not being moved, I figure you probably aren't really interested in having someone grab hold of you either. So how about I throw in these, and he puts some armbands down on the counter. These'll make it a lot harder for someone to get a hold of you.
Oh, how much extra is this?
We'll count it in with the difference between the writ and what you have now. But they, you notice they have like his business's name on the side of them.
I think you're a reputable business, and if these items work as you say they will, I don't see why not. This sounds like a good arrangement for me.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, so these are armbands of the Brawler.
Armbands of the Brawler.
Yep.
So basically for the 5K, I can get the rings I need, the armband, and the headband?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I will add those to my character sheet. Oh, these are cool.
All right, so with your whip, you want just a standard whip or something with a little bit of an edge?
I would say just a standard whip. I was hoping to get maybe a masterwork one.
Oh yes, I'll make sure of that. But you don't wish to really harm people per se. Just debilitate them or just disable them in some minor way.
Well, I would like to be able to maybe do a little bit of damage just in case.
So you want to hurt people, yes?
Yes. Just my enemies. The
Okay.
ones that deserve it.
Yeah, we'll check this.
I'll be right back in a minute.
Okay. So yeah, so you will be given so she'll make you up a razor whip instead of a regular whip. Which is basically a whip just with blades on it. Unless you specifically wanted to only deal non-lethal.
No, that I do want to deal damage.
Okay. All right. So much of the party is geared up. Really hope Ryan's not dead.
He said that there was traffic, but
Yeah.
that he's getting on
Okay.
in a few. That was like 10 minutes ago.
Well, his laptop is from a dollar store bin or something like that. So yeah, let's maybe take a few minutes of break. I know it's a little bit early, but perhaps Ryan will get in here. And since John stepped away anyway, we'll be back very soon. See you shortly.